Hello, everybody. Welcome to NFA Live. And today, because of the fact that Guy and Ben are out doing Lambo shopping, we have some special guests. We have Jessica, who is not Nick, and she is, of course, from Coin Bureau. Jessica, welcome back.
Good to be back. How you doing, Rob?
It's fantastic. I'm doing great. We're going to talk about alts today, so I'm super excited about this one. And Nick, the CEO of Coin Bureau, is here.
Hey guys, welcome. Glad to be here, Rob. Thanks for having me on. A long-time fan of NFA Live, and finally be on the stream. So yeah, I'm glad to be here, and hopefully I can share some insights with your audience, man.
Yes, this is going to be good. So there's going to be So usually when we do this, we talk. We have a pretty good balance. Today it's going to be very D-Genny-ish. And then we're going to talk a lot about altcoins, which could be great for some and not so great for others. But what I wanted to just go over is just have you guys answer some quick questions, which we have 4 of them. And I want to get to the Q&A, which is everybody's questions. So if you guys have questions right now, just drop them in the chat and we'll get to them. But the first question and I'll go through all 4 of these and then we'll answer them. So I want you guys, because you have been in these cycles a long time, and I wanted to ask your opinion, like how this bull cycle, and of course the bear cycle right before it, how it differs or is the same as the other ones you guys have been through. That's the first one. The second one is I want to show everybody your personal crypto portfolios. Now I can't show everybody everything because that would just be insanity. But I want to talk to you about your top 3, and then some of your ghost picks, and then also the third pick that you guys have in your portfolio. Did it become the third pick in your portfolio because you just bought it really early and it just appreciated massively? Or is it because you're actively accumulating that specific altcoin? The next one I want to talk about Dubai, because you guys live there. I don't understand the appeal, so you guys have to break it down for me. And then also I want to talk about Coin Bureau Club, which is the things that I take a look at when I'm really getting into some like deep dank alts, and what you guys have done as far as like the new one coming up, and of course some ones you guys have some hits and misses that you guys have done, and then we'll do a little Q&A. So that was a long explanation. Let's start it off. So Nick, since you are our premier guest today, I want to start with you. So Nick, first of all, how long have you been in crypto? What is the difference between the bear and bull, and just kind of break it down for us?
Yeah, so I think I really just got into crypto like early 2017. So that was just before the 2017 bull cycle. I'd been accumulating from that stage in the sense that initially trading crypto like ETH and Bitcoin, but then started accumulating from 2017. In terms of the 2017 cycle, it was my first cycle. Obviously, it was crazy. The concept that you could basically make gains of 10 to 20x on any sort of asset, especially coming from TradFi myself, it was just foreign to me. So that cycle was dominated, if you recall back, it was the 2017 ICO cycle, where there were basically all these ICOs are raising the likes of Tesla and all these other ones. Some of these ones that hark back to those days, like with numerous different popping off. And that was exciting as well. You could make like everyone was launching an ICO in those stages, or on Ethereum, and that was the big meta. Bitcoin CME futures first launched in 2017, late 2017. I recall the date was sometime in December 2017, which kind of marked the top of the previous bull cycle. So that was I think I made a few gains on some altcoins. I made like massive gains on, like Ripple, I think like a 20x or something. And yeah, it was crazy to me that this could be done in crypto. And then after that, I was like hooked. I was like, wow, I can love crypto. And then obviously came the 2018 bear market, and the 2018 bear market was a tough one to the extent that it was my first one. So you're asking yourself, and at that stage, there wasn't that much adoption in crypto. There wasn't that many people. It was much more than the previous cycles, but there wasn't as much as we've seen in the 2021 or the 2022 bear market. So at that stage, you kind of like have to ask yourself, or you have to reinforce to yourself that it's actually really, this industry's really got a future. And at that stage, you'd still have doubts in your mind because you're still relatively new in it. So it was difficult to convince myself of that. But I mean, at that stage, I was still fascinated by technology as well, and it's still fascinating to learn as much as possible, which is what we were doing at the Coin Bureau. And then the in terms of the next cycle, 2020, and the 2020 cycle was DeFi summer. So that was also really fun. Then I did a lot of degeneracy on-chain DeFi mechanics, a lot of the early farming, the food tokens. If you recall back to those days when you could farm, then they first did the airdrops, the comp airdrops, the uni airdrops and all that. I got involved in the DeFi summer, and this is obviously around COVID, and that's when people are just doing all this DeFi degeneracy whilst they were locked up in their houses. Then came 2021 cycle, which was the meta was NFTs, obviously. Mm-hmm. So all of these cycles follow with different metas that drive the cycle. 2021 cycle, we had our Dubai yacht party on the exact day that I think Bitcoin hit its previous all-time high. So that marked the top. So that's a good top signal. And yeah, then obviously we had the collab. Then after that, subsequently you had Luna, and Luna was like a massive thing for crypto, right? Like it decimated like a lot of the DeFi ecosystems. It brought down a lot of the CeFi DEX, and eventually, if you can look at it in terms of what it did to bring down FTX, and that bear market, the 2022 to 2023 bear market was a lot harder than the 2018 bear market for me. And that's because although there was a lot more awareness of cryptocurrency, a lot more people involved in cryptocurrency, and people didn't really doubt it per se, in terms of the apathy within that market and how much it decimated the crypto industry, it was really tough. And also at that stage, like, growing a crypto business, it's not just about the markets. When it was in the 2018 cycle, we're still a small team and all that and you could still manage, and whereas in the 2023 cycle, it's like you got a lot of commitments and everything as a crypto business. We thankfully, are well capitalized and all that, but it's still something you have to worry about as a business. Itself is tied to the markets, and that's why bear markets can be kind of scary especially if you're fully in crypto and as a company. And in this cycle, I would say it's really exciting because obviously it's completely different right now, dominated a lot by the ETFs. It's been crypto really now is in the mainstream because people of all stripes can get involved in crypto and buy Bitcoin through an ETF. There is no longer any questions about its mass adoption coming in terms of that, at least from an investment perspective. So this cycle, I feel it's a lot more exciting than the previous ones. Whether we'll see the altcoin seasons that we've seen in the past in terms of relative to Bitcoin, I don't necessarily think that, but it's just, it's been a crazy experience so far. So it's definitely the most exciting cycle yet. But yeah, all of these cycles have their own nuances and stuff, and the metas that drive them. And now one of the metas, of course, on the altcoin side is the degeneracy going on the meme coins, and it's not really NFT, it's just these meme coins. And it's kind of crazy as well, because I think back to the 2017 cycle, some of the people, when they were raising in ICOs, they'd go and raise, I don't know, 5 million for an ICO with a sketch with white paper that wasn't too well spec'd out. And people are like complaining about that, like, this is crazy, what's going on, how can they do this? And then now in this cycle, there's people on Twitter literally raising 20, 30 million for a meme coin with no white paper, sending directly to an address, not even a smart contract. And it's like, YOLO, let's make money. So yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's been a crazy ride, man.
Okay, excellent. So Jessica, before I ask you the same question, narratives. Talk to us real quick about, Nic, about what you see as narratives, because you talked about DeFi summer, you talked about NFTs. So what do you see right now as a narrative? And before we jump and we get away from the degeneracy, I just want to remind everybody that this was just put out today by BNB Chain. So if you think that meme coins are going away, I'm telling you right now, I think you're going to be surprised. They just came out and said, we're thrilled to announce the BNB Chain Meme Innovation Battle. We're $1 million up for grabs. Exciting opportunity for developers and creators to showcase their creativity and compete for amazing rewards. And this is all about memes. So Nic, real quick, just tell us what you think like the next narratives are outside of the meme coin craze, because that's going to at some point go away.
Meme coin craze, I mean, just to quickly expand on that, I think that it's interesting to note that like meme coins are, there's actually capital allocators, those guys actually thinking about investing in meme coins, and meme coins are important for the growth of a crypto ecosystem. There's the Avalanche Fund, the Avalanche Innovation Fund, Cultural Innovation Fund, which wants to invest $30 million in meme coins. And meme coins drive demand on the network because they drive, obviously, people are getting excited and investing in meme coins. It drives demand and transaction, and that basically then drives capital and drives liquidity. So there is a utility from meme coins in the ecosystem, and that is driving it. So I don't know if it's going to necessarily go away anytime soon, because if people can realize that meme coins is what bringing retail in to provide this liquidity to an ecosystem and excitement, and people want to buy, and then obviously more excitement and more attention begets more excitement and more attention. That's how these ecosystems grow. So there is definitely the importance of the meme coins within ecosystems. Now, in terms of the other narratives that are exciting, like obviously GameFi is an exciting one. I'm sure you're bullish on GameFi. I think that in terms of this cycle, what's really exciting is the potential for games that are actually playable games, like games that have been developed first as games, and games that people would play irrespective of whether there was any sort of crypto economy. Those games are launching soon. And given the size of the gaming ecosystem in terms of how many people actually game, this could be one of the few that allows for mass adoption of cryptocurrency to a larger audience, a massive audience, and a very engaged audience. So GameFi is another one. Then, of course, we've also got like DENCUN. I think that DENCUN as well, because it's one of these narratives that basically one of these ecosystems within crypto where you can actually, it's separated out from just a financial gimmickry. Most times people think about DeFi like it can be alien to them, whereas DENCUN is actually utilizing blockchain technology and this technology in physical networks that people can use on the day-to-day. So there's many projects we talk about that we probably will talk about that are growing up in the DENCUN space. And then I think that those are probably the two. And then AI is obviously a really exciting narrative now. Whether AI itself, in terms of the projects that do the technology they build in, is cutting edge AI, that's questionable. But as a narrative, it's exciting because obviously AI as a topic right now, just in terms of people who are looking at it more broadly in terms of the AI ecosystem. If you think about, for instance, they can't really invest in any sort of AI listed stocks right now, apart from potentially Nvidia. But Nvidia's already gone up like 10 or 20x. So it's basically like they think about where can I get exposure to AI of some description, and that's in cryptocurrency because the tokens are listed. And a lot of these AI cryptocurrencies are rolling up right now around the AI narrative in Meta. And sometimes some of these AI projects also share a narrative of DENCUN as well, because they're developing infrastructure and tech and solutions that can be utilized for AI compute as well. So yeah, I think those are my three top narratives for this bull cycle.
Sounds good. Okay, yeah. So that comprehensive, and I'm going to take it from question mark. Okay, let's let Jessica speak. Sounds good. So that was great, because it's good to hear like the narratives. Like Nick, I'm with you on most of those, definitely, for sure. And it's always interesting to see like what people saw in 2017, like I saw. But Jessica, you've been around longer than us. So tell us like what's the same, what's the difference, and what the narratives are moving forward.
So I started investing in 2017 also, which is experiencing different bull cycles for different reasons. And 2017 for me actually was the main season that I was investing in altcoins. That was my altcoin season. Actually, I wasn't full-time in crypto yet, so I was still experiencing it as a TradFi reporter. And that was the year from a portfolio performance standpoint that I had the most gains. 2021, I was working full-time, 2 separate jobs in crypto for 2 separate media companies. And I think I was so exhausted by covering the crypto news that I was mostly just holding BTC. So that, from a standpoint of lessons learned for the market cycles, guys, don't just overhedge into BTC for this market cycle. Alts are the ones that are going to perform and are going to help your portfolio gain the most over the market cycle. So that is one lesson that I will leave. And I know we'll get to that a little bit later when we talk about portfolios. But that was one thing, whenever I look back at my different portfolio performance, I'm like, yeah, 2021 just didn't deliver. You've got to allocate and diversify. And then, Rob, what was the second part of the question?
Oh, sorry. So then the second part of the question was the narratives, because like Nick and me were on the same page, like as far as like with AI and DeFi and stuff like that, and then gaming, Web3 gaming. What else do you see that's out there?
So I actually think DENCUN is the main one. And I think it's really easy to overlook certain, you've got to look into the ecosystems that will provide the DENCUN platform. So one of the projects that I am definitely kind of like fairly largely exposed to is Solana right now. Because I think if you dive into the Solana ecosystem, there's so many different subcategories of different DENCUN narratives there. So Solana is a main ecosystem layer that can help really kind of support the chain. And then when you dive into it, projects like Honey, Hive Mapper, I think is a really interesting one that will come out, which is essentially a decentralized Google Google mapping. So DENCUN is the main one that I'm looking into. And I think once you start to dive down that rabbit hole, there is enough projects and platforms to cover. I think one other thing that I would recommend for everyone that is watching is don't try and have a overpopulated basket of currencies and tokens that you're looking into. Don't overcomplicate it too much. You can't keep your eye on everything at once. It's better to have 6 or 7 projects that you watch closely. You follow their Discords, you're really avidly involved in their community. You can keep an eye on their socials. If you have too many, you can drop the ball on 1 or 2 of them and end up, fumbling the bag. And I would say it's better to keep fully focused, eyes on the prize, than overcomplicate it. There's too many cryptos out there. You can't keep an eye on everything.
But Jessica, that's why we ape into everything, because there's so much out there. Well, how about this? Before I get to your portfolio, and really says, what is DENCUN? And I think for some of us, in these situations, because we're in a day in and day out, we don't take a step back. Real quick, can you explain what DENCUN is to everybody?
Yeah, so it stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure. I'm going to use the example of Hive Mapper with the ticker Honey, because that's something that is on my watch list. If you guys are on Coin Bureau Club, you will see. But that's really interesting because it brings the real world asset of something tangible. You can buy this physical box that you connect into your car for around $500 US. That will help you make physical Google Map replica examples. So you can have you can essentially drive around the US and it can map where you've been and keep a more up-to-date version of Google Maps. Oh, look at that. See, perfect. Thank you. This is why. Dream team right here. And then you can earn tokens. So you're incentivized as a user for recording. If you are driving around, you can earn points and tokens in a decentralized manner. So to use the platform, there's benefits that it's more up to date than Google Maps. And then also you're incentivized from getting on board early because you as a token holder get the rewards. And this is, I think, what people are going to start to expect moving forward is people are going to start to expect to be incentivized in one way or another for using a platform and contributing to an ecosystem. And I know we mentioned kind of World Mobile sometimes as well on the show, Rob. If we look at what Mickey Watkins says, which is, if we're going to expand the sharing economy to add into tokenization, imagine Airbnb, but imagine being rewarded in the early stages of Airbnb for contributing to the ecosystem and getting on board early because you have been a token holder in Airbnb, or the same for Uber. If you got on board early and you had a larger token portfolio because you were one of the early, sharers and advocates for this platform, wouldn't that make so much more sense and really reward the 7th or 8th driver of Uber, which essentially is what we're seeing when it comes to decentralized token versions of their platforms.
Yeah, well said. Well said. You know what? I think, these DENCUNs, I think, are going to pop off. What's great about it, I see, is that, just in AI, and Nick was talking about this, alluding to this as far as AI and DPN, there was a report from Veterans, I think, or it was Wall Street Journal, I forgot which one. They talked about if we are taking a look at the GPU or the compute for the entire globe of what is actually needed to do the things that we want to do right now, which would be to make text to video, to do everything that we have to do with artificial intelligence and to help us to run our world. We're at a percentage of under, I think they said under 5% of what we actually need. So those GPUs, which Nick alluded to for NVIDIA and the different manufacturers, is not enough. And then to actually maximize that compute or computational power, I think that's the big play for crypto, to come in and actually say, hey, if you're not using this computational power, we need this for these other companies. So let us use this. We'll pay you a token, use the GPUs, and move on from there. The question is which is going to be the right one? And there's so many out there. I think it'd be very big. Okay, that's my little rant off on AI, why I'm so excited about it. Let's break into your portfolios, shall we? This is fun. I like this part because everybody wants to know, Rob, what are you investing into? I am investing into nonsense sometimes, but if we take a look at the pros here, and I can't show everybody everything. This is from Coin Bureau Club, and I took it all out, and it was interesting to see that, Jess, you always talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I think you say Solana sometimes here and there, but it's number 3. So my question is, how did it become number 3? Did you actively say, okay, I'm going to start, from $9 on when it bottomed out, I'm just going to buy $10,000 worth of it, or even slowly accumulating, and are you still accumulating? And then we'll get to Nick's, which is, actually, he's in the Solana ecosystem with Injective.
So from my side with Solana, it's a little bit of both. So I accumulated quite heavy Solana in October 2023. I think there was a combination of factors. There was the pre-build up to the Breakpoint conference, which was taking place end of October. And I had a little look and I thought, you know, this time last year, the previous 2022 Breakpoint conference of Solana was just before the FTX implosion, you know, so that was just a really tough time for the Solana ecosystem. Since then, quite a lot has happened. And I was thinking, you know, the narrative is going to be a little bit different this time around. I personally love cryptocurrency events as a good indicator for how the community is kind of rolling forward. And I quite like to, you know, purchase a little of a token in the kind of 1 month build up to a conference, because if there's a good news breakout, you'll typically see a little bit of a market pump. Not financial advice. It's just something I like to do as a non-trader that likes to invest in a few altcoins. So that was something that I was keeping an eye out for. We also had Austin Hedera, which is the head of strategy for Solana, come on CoinBureau Clips. And he was talking about some of the examples of specific projects that are being built on the Solana ecosystem. And the UX and UI of Solana is just really good. You know, if you look at people that are coming into the space in this is 2023, I was kind of looking at it from a retail newbie perspective, which is look how well Solana performed in 2021. Look at the UX and UI of Solana projects in 2023. Look at the narrative they're looking to build onboarding now. And if people are having to choose between the likes of Ethereum or Solana to build on, I kind of was thinking, you know, it's kind of like a tight, you know, pros and cons. There are people that have been in crypto earlier that are like, well, you know, you can't compare the two. But if you look for the newbies, this is kind of the narrative that I was expecting to see a little bit more of. We also had Raoul Pal come on CoinBureau Clips, and he is a huge Solana bull. So he was talking about Fire Dancer coming up, which was going to reduce outages, increase transactions per second. And that was part of my accumulation. So from around $16 Solana, it was a pretty good play, actually.
Hey, real quick before I get to you, Nic, you said something about Hedera and Solana.
Oh, so Austin Federa, the head of strategy at Solana.
Hedera is one. Great, fantastic. Okay, makes more sense. I'm like, well, there's a scoop. All right, so thanks so much. That makes a lot of sense of why, of course, you got into Solana and the UI, UX, and you know, making the battle. But it's a good play. Ethereum and Solana. Hey, you know, some people hate Solana, some people hate Ethereum. You're never going to get everybody to agree on that, but it's your portfolio, and that's what counts. Nic, same thing here. If we're taking a look at, I like both your portfolios actually, but this looks pretty good. And then you also have Helium on here for a DENCUN in the watch list. So
yeah,
real quick about Injective and why.
Injective. Yeah, I've been a long time Injective bull. I work on to Injective ninjas. They're called ninjas in the community. Ninjas. I've been holding that for a long time. Ever since it came out in 2020s. We were one of the first channels to cover Injective actually when it launched. And at that stage, I was really excited about the project itself in terms of what they were building. At that stage, it was just a Cosmos-based DEX, right? But I was at that stage, I was bullish on the interoperability narrative, which was Cosmos was big on then. And an interoperable DEX, COTS DeFi liquidity protocol. So I was bullish on it then and I held it for a long time. Obviously, through the previous bear, everything just watched it go almost. I was like, okay, well, you know, I viewed it as a binary bet. Like I believe in the project, and I've spoken to the team. I interviewed the CEO actually like 2-3 weeks ago. It's on the CoinBureau Clips. But yeah, I was really fascinated with technology. And over the past year, in terms of what they've been building, I became more and more bullish. I mean, they diversified away from just the focus was initially just a Cosmos-based DEX to now a completely open protocol for DeFi, right? And they've launched now in terms of the Cosmos ecosystem. It's become one of the biggest players. There's lots of DeFi DEXs they've been launching on their Helix, which is their primary perp DEX. They've got liquid staking. They've got NFT marketplaces. So yeah, I'd held it for a long time. And like last year, Injective was the first, I don't know if it was end of last year or this year, was one of the first projects or cryptocurrencies from that had broken through its previous all-time highs in the previous cycle. So yeah, the reason it's made up such a large proportion right now, it's not because I've been accumulating. I mean, obviously, I'd been accumulating maybe a little bit towards the back end of early of last year, but a primary portion of the stack came from early investment. And yeah, I'm super bullish on it. I'm staking it obviously, so I'm getting a lot of airdrop opportunities within the Cosmos ecosystem now, which is great because Cosmos is really doing well in terms of lots of projects launched on there. The whole idea of sovereign chains and modularity and that. So yeah, I think that that's why it makes it a large portion of my current portfolio. Yeah, I can. And then in terms of Helium, why it's on my watch list. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the most exciting in terms of the DENCUN projects that's had the most most growth in terms of like actually as a product. Like they've launched their T-Mobile network, and they partnered with T-Mobile to launch their physical infrastructure in Miami, and it's grown a lot in the past. So really there was a Vanek report that basically said that Helium could have at least 100,000 subscribers by this year in terms of like for their mobile networks. And then the whole idea of Helium is obviously these decentralized people operate these decentralized nodes and mobile networks. Yeah, the T-Mobile is growing a lot. The T-Mobile subscriptions are growing up, so that's why it's on my watch list. I haven't picked it up. I think it's an interesting DENCUN play. It's kind of like a developable analogous to World Mobile Token. So yeah, I mean that's why it's on my watch list. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's an interesting DENCUN play.
Yeah, it is interesting. And like, I mean, to talk about Helium, because everybody wants to know, they want to know like, well, what is the utility? What does it actually do? And a lot of these projects don't do anything yet. And we can take a look at just a lot of these, I mean, let's be honest, some of these layer 2s as well. But if you take a look at Helium, and I have some Helium, it's very, very small. I didn't go in, I think, as heavy as you guys did. But I mean, you can actually sign up for a telecommunications plan. And I think it's unlimited text, talk, and data. And that actually happens right now. And they've got mobile miners all over the country. And then also, if you're talking about, because people say, well, Helium, and then they'll also talk about with World Mobile, like Jess, you mentioned. I mean, they're breaking into the United States. I think they just put in their nodes, their physical ones, in Reno, Nevada, and across the U.S. So it's interesting, especially with taking a look at those altcoins. And who knows what'll happen? I mean, I'm pretty excited about this upcoming bull run, but who knows? I guess that would lead me to my next point is Dubai. So we talked a lot about altcoins and what's going on. Actually, no, sorry. There's one more thing I wanted to mention before we move on. Can I just give a shout out to your team on their portfolios? Saj, is that how you say it? His portfolio is 100% Bitcoin, which is great. I mean, him and Ben, they'd love to have a show together. But then my man here, Dan, head of research, I had to shrink down his section on the Coin Bureau Club because he had so many tokens. And I'm like, Dan's the kind of guy who should be on my channel. So I just want to give you two of your members a shout out for their massive amounts. And
I think that's important, man. It's important to have diverse perspectives from the team, because it's like you don't want to have just one, singular narrative or one singular investment thesis. It's important to have perspectives from everyone, and I think that's what's cool about it. It's like you get your different flavors of people in the Coin Bureau Club, and they want to get different perspectives from people, and we can share and argue these points separately as well. So it's cool. I think it adds the flavor,
And just to add, there's a little bit of friendly competition in the office as well. So every time Injective hits a new all-time high, Nic's office will be playing some loud, garish, crypto pumped up tracks. If you'll see another kind of crypto token, you'll be like, okay, either like Guy is holding it or Dan is holding it, top gainers of the week. One of them is like happy as Larry sitting at their laptop. So
you can tell exactly what prices the markets are at by what, exactly what music is emanating from my office.
You know what? If you think about it, that's how we should all be. Like everybody who's watching this video right now, I think we should all be, because I know like Jessica, I don't know if you have Injective in your portfolio, but I'm sure when you hear the music, you're like, hey, good for Nic. And then of course, with Guy, if Rollbit ever comes, goes up massively, you can be like, good for Guy. I think we should be a little bit better as far as like a community to go, hey, yours, I don't own it, but yours went up. That's fantastic. Good for you, man. I would like to see more of that, but it's very hard moving forward in this board.
Do you ever see that clip by Ivan on Tech? It's a classic clip now. It's been around, the one where you got to respect the pump.
Yes.
Yeah, you respect the pump. That is the typical, that's how we should be. Respect the pump. It's good karma. You got to respect other people's pumps. Don't be hating on anyone else's pumps,
Well said. Hey, let's mix things around. I'm gonna go to the Dubai question last, because this I think will really play into it. which would, we're talking about, what you guys do and the amount of research that you do. Let's talk about some of your plays that you have over there at Coin Bureau Club. And I just want to talk about actually the last 4. And I watched these videos that were interesting. You have AIOZ, and guy was like, yeah, it's going to do pretty well. This was on March 15th. And if we come over here, the 15th, it's not too bad since that time. Now it's down 1.4% today, but I mean, that's just how it goes. And then gold, like these are one, and this is why I like to watch the videos. These aren't on my radar. I don't know what these are. And without you guys doing the research, I don't have time for that. I'm glad you guys do it, because I'm like, oh, Goldfinch, March 22nd, still pretty good. I mean, you're looking at sub 4. Now we're at 404, not too bad. And then Layer AI, guy talked about this one. I'm like, hey, an AI play, because AI play is all going to do awesome, right? And he's like, you know what, be careful with this one. I'd be damned if it wasn't right. So on these 3, it's good, but nobody's perfect, right? I mean, there was this one on Fetch AI, and it was, and I had owned Fetch AI, and I like Fetch AI, but I saw the video. I'm like, long-term play, this could be pretty risky, and about what it was. And actually, it's been kind of sideways, but it's done up pretty well. And I think Fetch, what is it, Jessica? Fetch AI, Singularity, and Ocean Protocol. I think they're merging, right?
Yeah.
So it goes to show you. But that's why I just want to say, like, I like what you guys are doing over there. What is the next thing that you guys are focusing on as far as bringing in new content? Because I've never heard of these projects at all, except for Fetch. Anybody can take that one.
Who wants to go first?
Okay. I mean, I can take it.
Yeah.
So I think it's difficult, right? In terms of how we choose what kind of projects we're going to cover sometimes, because I think it's a situation where we are trying, the way that these projects are chosen, obviously, is there's one of the features of the club is like obviously a members votes, right? So members vote on, there's a choice of 4 different coins, which a member can vote on. And then the one that gets the most votes, obviously, is the one that we cover. And that's basically why some of these picks have come. And the problem does sometimes come into it when obviously people hear about a coin that's been pumping, like Layer AI or whatnot, or Goldfinch, and then they basically vote for it because they want to know it's worth covering. And then when you do the digging, you discover maybe it isn't worth really investing in. It's not necessarily a positive or bullish outlook on it. And some people get like aggrieved by that, saying, oh, well, I wanted to know what coin to buy. But the point of the club is not necessarily to tell you exactly what coin to buy. It's basically to tell you, you want to know about these projects. You want to cover them in without fear or favor. We want to go and do our deep dive reviews. And as you can see now, we've got our poll up there. I think we need to meld. Yeah. I've met the team. Great team. Atlas Navi is one that I think is on Guy's watch list, and people are excited about that. It's similar to, I think, Hive Mapper, Jess. So it's an interesting project. Pixels is one that another team member, Kevin, is excited on. So yeah, these are projects that basically the selection for the poll, we try to bring as much of them as we try to mix it up. Sometimes different narratives, maybe ones that members can actually also as an altcoins channel in our Discord, CBC Discord, where people can suggest the choices they want. And then if enough people like it, then we put it into the poll. So we're trying to make it democratic, and we're trying to give people a selection of different coins, and then they can vote for it. And now, especially in what happened with Goldfinch and Layer AI, and once you do the digging, you realize actually it's not that of an exciting project. We don't think it's really worthwhile. People could slightly be aggrieved by that. So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to also give a little bit more of a dig into it before we put it up for a poll, so people can actually, we know that the projects should be covering are interesting and ones we want to actually take a look at as well. So that's how we're going to maybe tweak our voting system going forward. But yeah, I mean, that's how these coins are chosen. And they are, the criteria is they have to kind of like be to small caps, because that's the whole reason we've got the club.
That's okay. I got it. Because it makes more sense. Because I'm like, I don't know how you guys would determine which ones it is. Because when I watch the videos, like you guys go back like years back, and you look at the different interviews. Like this was the one with Fetch AI. I was blown away by, because you were taking a look at the actual founders, and you looked at all their public appearances, and you're like, we're telling you there's something a little bit off on this part, but this part is good. But so it makes people more informed. That's all it really comes down to. Jessica. What about it?
Well, this is the thing, is that I think you've said it really well there, Rob, is like our head of research, Dan, is just absolutely incredible at being able to go back maybe 5 years to an interview that has 200 views and being able to deconstruct some of the points that are made. And it's really hard for people to be able to, first of all, have the time, but also be able to vet the narratives of, okay, is the founder able to pivot enough, and have they pivoted with the times and with the narratives? But there's also the boundary of pivoting too much. And he's able to really kind of break down and deconstruct the project in a way that not a lot of people in crypto can. And I know when I first started watching Coin Bureau, I've obviously been with the team for less than a year, but when I started to watch them, the coin reviews was something that was really kind of how I got to know Guy and the team. And the fact that this is now a way that you can find those low cap gems is a pretty impressive entry point to get into and up your crypto portfolio and knowledge. So we have the video reviews. I think there is one coming out tomorrow or today. Nic, you can clarify, on World Mobile tomorrow, which is going to be a good one. Yes, so that's the one not to miss. And then also one other thing that we can mention is we also do the Coin Bureau Discord AMAs as well. So we'll also invite people that are representing founding team members of specific projects to come on board for a live AMA audio call with myself. And if you are a Coin Bureau Club member, you can ask them questions directly. And that's also been a really great entry point, because you can listen to interviews with these guys, but the fact that you can ask questions in real time and hear their responses, and then also ask them a follow-up question and that also get narrated to them, is, I think, really important. I think more people need to be doing it. It needs to be accessible right now for people to be able to, can they take the heat of the questions that they're being asked, and can they handle it well? And do you like the response they've had? So we've had some great projects to come on board already. We're super thankful for them to allocate the time to us. We've had the likes of Mantle, Sui, Babylon have come on board, Chili's, and we have World Mobile scheduled to come up soon. And actually on the 10th of April, we have Peak, which is another DeepIn project, which is coming soon. So that's also a nice way that if you are looking to understand more about an ecosystem or a specific project, you can also ask the questions there as well.
I got to tell you, I mean, I can't agree more. If you guys want to find more information about it, I linked this in the description for Coin Bureau Club. Not an affiliate link, of course, but just check it out and go from there. And there is one thing I will say, and I have to wholeheartedly agree. In 2021, I remember there was a project. I want to say it's Orion Protocol. It probably has changed names. I don't know, but it was a friend of a friend. Like, hey, this is gonna be really big. It's gonna be a DEX, and it's gonna be really fantastic. Okay, let's get the founders on. Oh, they're not doxxed. What do you mean they're not doxxed? Yeah, they just don't want to. And I'm like, that's kind of shady, but I'll talk about it, but I don't think it's going to go too well. And it didn't. And they actually changed off their tokens, and I put in like 5,000. And of course, I wasn't being aware of it. And of course, because that token, and it was just a big shifty thing. So kudos to you guys for getting the people on to put a face behind the name, because there's too much trash going on in the crypto market. So I have to commend you for that one. All right. So a lot of things have gone over. Let's finish up with just last question, and we'll get a Q&A. Dubai. I don't get it. I hear.
Why did you get it, Rob?
I just don't get it. Like,
what is not to love? It's got Rolls Royces, bright lights, 50-degree heat in the summer.
Exactly.
Celsius,
so like Celsius, exactly. So like I live in Puerto Rico. It's beautiful here, right? And then we spend time in El Paso, Texas. It's hot as hell there as well. But the people are great and the food is awesome. I can't escape that place. But tell me about, this is from Elon Trades. It says, and it talks about Dubai is not expensive. And he said, I'm in the marina. Everything is half price of USA and Western Europe. $30 for a haircut and beard trim, $4 for shawarma, and $3 a night for a luxury apartment rental. And I guess, of course, if you're comparing, like I said, New York and Los Angeles, Austin, London, maybe it's cheap, but other places not. But just tell the viewers why you guys are there, because there's some people who have been hitting me up recently, like moving to Puerto Rico. And they're like, what about Dubai? I'm like, I have no idea. That's why I got you guys. Whoever wants to take that one.
Jessica.
Okay, I'll kick it off. Okay, first of all, I don't know where Elon is going for some snacks and for rental services. He needs to tell me where he goes, because Dubai is expensive. That is the only negative I would say about the place is it is pricey. Like, I have paid ridiculous money for a bowl of pasta before, or a dinner, or a tequila shot, but that's a different story. It is an expensive place to go. However, it is an amazing place when it comes to Safety, the fact it is a cultural melting pot. There's people from every single region, which means the food is amazing. That you can get everything delivered to your door within an hour. The delivery services, the accessibility for anything is very fast and effective. You can tell that it is a new city. I mean, when I was here last year, Dubai celebrated its 51st birthday, which is coming from like London. It's just insane. But you can tell by the effectiveness of the place. If a building is 10 or 15 years old, that's considered old here. You know, that's considered an old building, which is almost on the way out. Everything works in a very effective way. It's super safe as well. I think compared to Europe at the moment, this is an absolute dream. People can leave money under their mat for 1 month or leave the front door open and all of that fun stuff. Not us, because we're in crypto, but you know, it's a super safe place. And I would recommend people to just try it. I think there is a definite misconception about the place. And there's a lot of crypto content. There's a lot of crypto people that are based out here. There's a lot of conferences that are taking place. So if you people are looking to possibly move here and set up shop, if you are looking to get a visa, first of all, it's really easy to do, but I would definitely recommend you to pop by maybe the same time as a crypto conference so you can try it out, see what you think. Try and avoid summer, because summer, I think Nick, you'll probably say this as well, summer is a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to highs of like 55 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit.
Just a little cooler than the sun.
Just a little. But it apart from that, it's like you can hit the beach every weekend, you know, it's amazing. It is what you make of it.
Okay, I will take a cue from you, Jessica. If you're talking about 50 to 55 Celsius, you're talking about 120 degrees plus. Maybe 130.
Yeah, but you don't go outside, and everything's got AC because everything works here. It's not like in Europe where there's buildings with no AC and you're sweltering.
It sounds good. Nick, what do you got? What's the...
Yeah, first of all, I said I unfortunately can't relate to Elon Trade's point about the $30 haircuts, because my hair is a bit more high maintenance, to be honest. But
it's a nice
thanks, man. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to get there. Yeah. Blow dry and all that. No, in terms of Dubai, I think that Jess touched on a lot of the points. I think that, and more related to crypto, for the crypto ecosystem specifically, it's like one of the most welcoming jurisdictions for cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency companies. And maybe many people don't know that Dubai is probably, I think, the only country or the UAE, and Dubai is the only country or state that has a designated crypto regulator in VARA, right? So VARA, the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, they actually did, regulate the cryptocurrency space here, and and companies can get these VARA licenses, which gives them clarity, and it allows them to obviously provide their services in the country. And this is something we've seen more over the past 2-3 years in other jurisdictions. Regulation by enforcement, no clear guidelines. It's difficult for companies to actually operate in. So Dubai is becoming a crypto hotspot. The amount of people that are moving here in crypto is amazing. Like, and it's just like, that's what's cool, because you're involved in an ecosystem, and you immersed in an ecosystem with people like yourself that work in the same industry. And that's part of the great benefit of Dubai from the crypto perspective. Obviously, another thing is the great location, right? Time zone wise, it's very good for dealing with people in different jurisdictions. I mean, different time zones. So you can easily deal with people in Asia, people in Europe, in the US. Like, it straddles the world, so it's good for time zones. Travel as well is amazing. Obviously, if you like to travel, you easy access to Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, because Emirates and the Dubai airport is like one of the best airports and airlines in the world, so it can fly wherever you want. So if you like to travel, if you travel for business, it's a great place to doing that. Obviously, as Jess alluded to, zero crime, right? So especially I've lived in a number of different cities in the past, and I think say Dubai is the safest. Like, you can literally leave phones on tables, do it, and never been a victim of crime here. And then obviously, I think it's dynamic, international, melting pot of cultures. It's growing massively. I mean, the population growth has been crazy over the past 2 years. This is obviously reflected, as Jess mentioned, in terms of higher prices. Obviously, property prices have gone up, rent has gone up, but that's a sign of people wanting to move here. So I can say, I'm glad I moved here. I still enjoy. I like Dubai. And in terms of your question, if there's things I could have done differently, you learn a lot when you move here, especially on the business side of it. Because obviously, when I moved here, we moved the company over. I set up a number of the businesses here, And there's many things I would have done differently on the business infrastructure component, like what type of companies you choose to incorporate, what jurisdictions you can incorporate in, whether it's a free zone or a mainland company, specific things to do with Dubai businesses, how you organize bank accounts, how you deal with types of visas. Like there's, it's a bit more bespoke visas that could be a better option for you. I was actually working on a more involved Dubai video in terms of like a guide to moving to Dubai, which we're looking to do on CoinGo Clips at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad here. I'm happier. I think that, and as much as people complain about the weather in the summer, yes, it is hot, but the infrastructure is amazing to be able to easily access anywhere with aircon. And you can live here. I've lived here through summer, and it's not that bad. And the winters are amazing. Temperate climate, and it's popping off. So yeah, I think that people, they get the perception of Dubai, and I see that some people commented on the tweet there as well. I think that it does help to come and live here for a certain period of time, because being a tourist and living and being visiting a place for a week or two, you don't get a full flavor of it. And before I moved to Dubai in 2022, I lived out here for like 3 or 4 months when it was setting things up in 2021. Yeah. And gave me a good sense of what the place is like as a local living here, and speaking to a lot of different people, getting and doing DYOR, and where you want, DYOR is also important if you move into a jurisdiction. And you'll notice that everything I've said here, not a single time that I mentioned taxes, because people always say taxes, Dubai. You move into Dubai because of taxes. If you move into Dubai just to save taxes, you're not moving for the right reasons, because it's moving to a place. You're going to live there. You have to make it your home. And you need to understand and appreciate the other things for it. So yeah, that's my Dubai shield.
That's a good. That's a great shield from both of you. I got to be honest with you. And I will just say, there's 2 things. I would. This is a request on my side. I did a video where I talked about Puerto Rico, and I did an initial one when I moved here in 2021. And I did an updated one where I told all my screw ups and what I would do, and I gave information for like CPAs and lawyers and real estate agents and how to incorporate and all that good stuff, right? If you guys ever want to do or would do something like that for Dubai, I think it would be a hit. I think people would really want to take a look at that, especially just for a reference. And I've actually had multiple people, and also in the KOL influencer YouTube space, saying the same thing, like, hey, give me some information about Puerto Rico because I want to move there. And I'm like, and just like what you said, if you move for capital gains reasons, this is going to be a really crappy experience, and you better make this your home, because if not, you'll go away. And the last thing I'll say is like this. Everybody who thinks like it's so easy to move and do these things, in 2021 in Puerto Rico, we had the highest amount ever in the history of Puerto Rico for the Act 60 people who come here for tax reasons. And in 2022, we had the highest amount of rescinding of the Act 60, meaning everybody moved here. They didn't realize what you guys just said about you have to make it your home, and they all went back. So if you're talking about this, you better make sure that this is what you want and go there and move there. That's it. That's my spiel. So everybody, that's it for today. If you, we'll do a little Q&A, but as a reminder, Coin Bureau Club and the Coin Bureau Clips, the links are in the description. We can go from there. As I'm perusing through the questions, if you guys want to give any kind of sage advice for the people who are in the crypto space right now, moving in the bull market, go right ahead. I'll take a look for the questions.
Oh, Nic, do you have some? Because I think we both got in 2017, so you've probably got some
sage advice.
Hints and tips.
No one's got sage advice.
I mean, I saw some guides here I said, don't forget to take profits. That's something that I haven't. I have taken. Yeah, you got to take some profits, man. You got to. And I didn't do this in 2021. I didn't do this in 2017. I did for an altcoin, but my Bitcoin stack, I never took profits. I've been holding it for so long, and I think that the thing is, taking profits is easier said than done, because it's related to people sometimes allow their emotions to stop them from actually hitting the sell button because of the potential FOMO they have, and they adjust their expectations up. And although they had a target to take profits at, they'll just basically adjust that because they think they want something better. They want a nicer house, they want a nicer car, even though they reach their financial goals. So I think set it and forget it and take profits is something that I hope to be able to do this cycle for sure.
I got to agree. Jessica, what about you? Because, and not only Jess, one more thing, for everybody. I mean, you've not only have you been in the space for a long time, you've interviewed some big. I mean, like CZ Binance. I mean, personally interviewed him, and of course Raul Powell. And you guys have had some great interviews, but like you've been doing this for a long time. So, any advice?
Yeah, I think I would say make sure you understand the industry and the also ecosystem that you're investing in, because there is a lot of kind of FOMO that you can ape into stuff without understanding. And I think that is kind of rule number one. Also, and my main one is don't assume you can trade. Don't assume that you're a trader just because your portfolio is up. Everyone thinks they are a mastermind when the markets are moving and everyone is up 10% on the week. Everyone needs to watch videos on trading for dummies because everyone is a genius. But then as soon as the bear market comes, everyone realizes that, yeah, actually trading is a true art and a niche and you can lose everything. So take profits, invest, not trade, and just kind of like pay yourself along the way. Take it easy. Don't lose your head. If you need to speak to your non-degen, non-crypto mother to get her to realign you and remind you to take some profits. And I can also see N Riley 22. Oh no, Simon Stewart in the comments saying avoid leverage. Yeah, and avoid leverage. They're my things.
Exactly. You know what? I'm gonna start a service where people just call me. And the only thing I'm gonna say is take profits. But Rob, there's this thing where I'm gonna say just take profits. I'm gonna charge like $35 a minute. And
oh, nice. So you're taking profits too.
It's like that's all people really need to hear. Like, just take some profits.
Yeah,
you know,
I love what Rob says. Like he says, take profits before I dump on you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to dump on you, so take profits. Yeah. And then if people are thinking, if I take profits, but Rob's going to dump, I should take profits. All right, let's get to the questions. First of all, who's that MacGyver dude? So that would be Nic, and he's the CEO.
Yeah. MacGyver. Who MacGyver does it look? I need to check out what MacGyver looks like, actually.
MacGyver does not look like you. But,
yeah, I'm like, why? I'm like, that does not look like me. I've had some. He does not look like me. I've had some crazy comparisons in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Where is Ben? Ben and Guy are doing Lambo shopping together, so hopefully they make it out of there, get their Lambos.
They're taking color recommendations for the colors of their Lambos. So guys, comment below what color you think Ben and Guy should get.
They're also going to start a new live stream going to be called Carpool Karaoke with Guy and Ben and their Lambos.
And it's going to have 4 baby seats somehow because of Ben's 4 kids. Yeah. Older.
Yeah. Well, the Urus, yeah.
Yeah. Martine says, I'm watching Hive Mapper section right now, wondering about privacy issues, probably mainly in the EU. I mean, as far as like privacy and Hive Mapper, as I understand it, you have to purchase the actual physical mapping device box. You put it on your in your car, and then you just drive around, and it uses that data just like what Google did back in the day to map everything. But as far as like privacy data, I don't know what the privacy data. I don't know if it's like. I don't know if they like, well, first of all, they're going to have to track you. So I think your privacy is like, hey, this is my information. That would probably be one of those things to actually get paid. So on that one, I don't know. Guys, anything with that one?
I think if it's in the EU, if you either got to comply with GDPR. If you don't, the EU bureaucrats will come and they'll rip your camera off your dashboard ASAP. So yeah, in the EU, you can't get by doing any of this. Even if you're a crypto company that's operating a decentralized network, you got to comply with GDPR. So I assume they'd be collecting it's an opt-in kind of thing. So I don't know exactly if you have to opt in to collect your data for these web dash cams. So yeah, they'd have to be compliant with EU regulations on that.
I bet you I'm in the USA, land of the free, but it doesn't really work like that. You have to KYC and AML everything. I mean, to collect those rewards that you're doing, I'm going to guarantee you they have all your information. And let's see. Oh, this is a good one. From RustyBot, do you guys run any DPIN or real world asset nodes or any nodes? Do you guys run anything yourselves? Or in Coin Bureau land?
Unfortunately, I don't think we do it.
No,
I think Guy runs a miner. Guy's got a miner somewhere.
Does he really? Like a Bitcoin?
Well, and he doesn't actually physically run the miner. I know that he's bought shares in a mining machine somewhere in Al Ain. And you're in Dubai, so that's a city. But no, I think that, and I feel bad saying that because honestly, I think it is important to run a node in terms of like decentralizing a network, if it's an Ethereum full node or a Bitcoin full node, because obviously that's important from to make it the network decentralized, right? But it's obviously you got to keep the machine on all the time, you think to yourself, oh, it's decentralized enough, so what is one extra node going to make a difference? It's more from an idealistic standpoint. Smaller networks, smaller DENCUN plays, we haven't started running nodes yet. No.
Yeah, I've got we run a Cardano stake pool, and also I have a node on Playable, but that's about it. I just missed the Aether DPIN AI whitelisting, but a lot of everybody else got into it except me, so that's fine. Yeah, and really says, what are your future working opportunities, the bureau after the bull run? How do you want to grow? That's a good question. How do you guys want to grow in the future?
In terms of our strategy, or
strategy and just like growth as far as like the office? You guys just Dubai? Are you guys going to branch out? Because it doesn't really matter where you're at because you guys are global anyhow.
Yeah.
Maybe I can jump in. Oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we are hiring for a social media manager here in our Dubai office. So if you are interested to work with the bureau, you can reach out on Twitter or on our website, because we are currently hunting for the perfect candidate that loves crypto as much as we do and also wants to come and work with us and Guy in the office here. So if anyone's interested that's watching that wants to be full-time in crypto even more, join the Coin Bureau team.
Okay.
Yeah. That should actually be paying to be working with you and Guy, to be honest. Yes.
That's so sweet. Very nice. Hey, speaking of which, Coin Bureau Live 2024. Are you guys going to have that, or what are you going to do, or is that in the works or not happening?
Oh.
Unfortunately, this year I don't think we're planning the Coin Bureau Live, because we've got we're doing a lot of things around Token 2049. Which is in 2 weeks' time. So we're going to have side events and we networking there. I think that we could do it again at some point, maybe in the future. We were playing with other ideas like a virtual live conference and everything. But the thing is, more specifically from the UK angle, the UK has got new laws on crypto promotions, which are not necessarily conducive to running a live IRL event. You'll notice, of course, that Token 2049 is in Dubai this year, and it used to be run in the UK, in London. So they moved. Unfortunately, nothing planned right now on the calendar, but obviously we do want to have it again, and we want to try and make as many opportunities as possible to meet fans IRL. So if anyone's going to be in Dubai in 2 weeks for Token 2049, we'd love to see you. We'll be around as well.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Ben is living his second life, Grand Theft Auto life, Lambo cooking. Although that would make for a hell of a episode. That's for sure.
He would be a great GTA character. He'd be a great GTA character, Ben.
Yeah. Let's see. I think. Let's see. Does Guy buy everyone lunch in the office? If he does, he's probably poor because it's so expensive to buy food over there.
Yeah, and Guy is actually on a health kick where he fasts every single Monday. So Mondays are a tough day to be working with Mr. Guy because you feel very guilty eating your lunch sitting opposite the poor chap while he's on a 24-hour food fast.
Nah, I've done that.
Very irritable. Very irritable. Yeah, you hear the screaming coming from the green room.
Well, that's why they play. That's why you play that music so loud, so you can't hear a guy screaming at everybody. How about this one?
Yeah.
Thoughts on the ASI merger? I don't know if we just talked about this recently. Fetch, Ocean, and Singularity. Is this good for AI in general, or what are your thoughts on this one, if anything at all?
Well, I know you had a video on this as well, Rob. I think it definitely will bump them up in the rankings when it comes to the kind of market dominance of the separate AI tokens together coming as one. Out of the three, I'm more familiar with Singularity Net just because they've been around for longer. I've interviewed Ben Goertzel a few times, and we had Singularity Net and Singularity DAO on the Discord. And this is actually before the announcement, so maybe we should get them to come back on and share it in a little bit more detail. I think you covered it in a video, Rob. What was your take?
My thoughts were just like this, is that I see this is going to happen more and more. These different chains that are maybe not struggling, but they have some strengths, but they have, every business has some sort of weakness. They're going to merge together and make themselves like a super platform. And I think it was a smart move because, Ocean and Singularity and Fetch, they do something a little bit differently. And if they can kind of shore up those weaknesses, they can, move in the stratosphere best as they possibly can. Also, they have a greater war chest because the combination of those three platforms themselves would make them at 7.1 billion, I think it was, which would put them at like the 28 mark on the market cap. So for them to do something like that is a smart move, especially they're like, hey, we can do this, and this. We have less weaknesses. That was my thought process.
I have a question on that. Is because I was speaking to Crypto Cito about this as well, and you know,
Cito, how's he doing? I haven't seen him.
He's great, man. He actually lives on the same floor in the same building as me, like by complete coincidence. It's crazy. I just joined him for a Crypto Cito shisha session the other day, so it was cool. We just chat crypto, we just catch up and chat crypto, watch at the marina views. But yeah, he was basically, the question is like, how are the teams going to talk about like, is there one team that's going to be stronger, that's going to take it over more particularly? Like, is it more like, was it really a merger, or is one team going to emerge like the predominant team that's going to drive the project forward? Because like, how do they plan their delegations like that? So, I mean, it's like, which of the stronger projects were taken over? I mean, if you recall, like it's happened before crypto mergers. If you recall, like Polygon took on Hermes back in the 2021 cycle, and that's how they got their ZK technology. But yeah, I guess it's like, how are the teams going to work about apportioning duties or growth, or you know, because I mean, there must have been a stronger team there. Ocean, for instance, I'm sure that Singularity, from my perspective, I think Singularity's probably got a more active team than Ocean would have, for instance. And no offense to the Ocean guys, but yeah.
Right. So like, I mean, they all do a little bit something different, right? Like, so like Ocean is like for decentralized apps. Singularity is pretty much like all AI, and then Fetch AI has something to do with consolidation of artificial intelligence and compute power. But you hit it on the head, because for all businesses that are out there, this is really what it comes down to. Nick, you even talked about in 2017 the ICO craze, which is just white paper and hope, and everybody got into that. But there was nothing structurally behind it. Moving forward, these businesses, these products actually have to actually do something and have real partnerships and have real utility and actually do the thing they say they do, instead of just going, you know what, it's coming. It's in beta. It's going to happen this way. It all comes down to partnerships and executions. And if you can't do that, you're going to go away. So I would see it like, I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but you might say it's a pretty good play in the bull run. But I would say like this, when we get into the bear market, what usually happens? Layoffs, decreased revenue. And then, of course, what they say is like, we got a lot of people. Thankfully, we merged. Now we can let those people. I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, it happens with everybody. So
yeah, man, the streamlining, as mergers in traditional companies always lead to that. You're going to have some streamlining that's going on with the workforce. So there's bloat it's going to cut.
Yeah, and with that one, we're past an hour, so I will leave that on that bummer of a note. Sorry, everybody, but just remember that we're
working in crypto can be volatile, man. It's volatile. The workforce is volatile as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're in a bull market. Things are going good. I want to thank again Jessica and Nick for being on the show, enlightening. Again, all the links are in the description. So everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. I think we're on Ben's channel.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, guys. Cheers. Thanks, Rob. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.